Hello everyone, Windybeard here, how's it going? Just another weekly update, just to let you know what I've been up to, what I've been working on. What I've been working on this week, mostly is GO2, so GO2 I discussed in the last couple of weekly updates, and I'll probably be talking about for quite some time in the future. GO2 is the project I'm working on at the moment. It's a sequel to my first, actually the second game I released, Geo. I covered some of this last week. So this week I've been mainly working on how the game's actually going to work. So it's quite a complicated game. The idea is it's simple to play, but it's got depth. So it's got a lot of systems that interweave, a lot of things that build complexity, such as in GO2 I'm going to have the universe that you can explore is vast, which means it needs to be procedurally generated. So I've been thinking about how I'm going to do that, and I've already started work on it, but it's very complicated because you never know where to start with these things. This is always the trouble I find, especially with something complicated and a large body of work like generating a procedurally generated universe. We're not talking No Man's Sky level by any means, but theoretically it's a similar issue because you need to think about how you're going to generate stuff, when it's going to be generated, what data points that generation is going to need, how those data points are going to play out in the game and what relevance they have. And then you need to figure out how you're going to feed this information into the game to generate these things. And it just goes round and round and round. So I've been sitting there for quite some time formulating how I'm going to attack this problem. And I have started work on it now. But it's one of those jobs where every time you think you're making progress, you go, right, I'm going to need this now. And then that thing that you're missing means that everything you've done beforehand needs to be modified to incorporate this new thing. Even if you plan it to the minute detail, which is ridiculous, that takes so much time. You always find these little things pop up. So been dealing with a lot of that. But I'm having good fun actually. I'm really enjoying developing GO2. It's refreshing in comparison to my last couple of games because it's a lot of database building and then reading this data and pushing it out to the player in a nice interactive way, and that's what I like to do in video games. I really enjoy that. So I've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed the work so far. I have finished. I say finished. I like to do like a nice vertical slice of how the game's going to look and feel as quickly as I can. So I did that with the Cortrium. So anyone who's familiar with GO1 will know that the Cortrium is essentially like a perk tree or a skill tree you'd get in an RPG. It's just nodes in a web, and as you unlock one, you can then access the ones that are joint to it, and each one gives you, relevant stat boosts or whatever. So I did that. I did the database for it, and then I put it into the game. I designed the art for it. So I'm trying to do a slightly different art style for GO2 than I use in most of my games, and I'm trying to keep it a lot quicker to develop. So I want the art to be a little bit less detailed, but I want more of it. If that makes sense. So I'd prefer to have variety rather than detail. So that's what I'm working with at the moment. We'll see how that goes. It's still in its early stages, the art direction, but I think it's going to come together nicely. I can see it in my head. So I'm trying to think like the Behemoth, like the Castle Crashers style sort of thing. I want to try and take some inspiration from that. I like the way they work, and I really like that company and especially their art style. So I kind of want to study that a bit more, work towards something down that route, which is fast to make. But if you make a lot of it, you get this richness, which is what I'm after. So that's pretty much GO2. Also this week there was Egg Jam. Yeah, Egg Jam. So there's for the people who watched my stream and are on my Discord, both linked in the description below, there was a little community game jam whereby everyone made games that sort of took the mickey out of me and my stream and the Wincy Egg. So that was good fun actually. There was six entries in the end. All six of them were hilariously funny. And I do have another video actually uploaded a few days ago, which was me playing them live on my stream if you want to check that out. So I had these awesome silly games made by the community, and the only rule was you had to make it in under 4 hours, there or thereabouts. Do you know what I mean? You didn't spend a lot of time on it, so just make something fun, fast. That's your entry into the competition. Had entries from Corpse, Snarkwad, Retro Steezy, Absolution, Evil Dustmite, and the winner was Binary Ferret with his game The Bastard of Doveridge, which was a great game. And all these games can be found on the Discord as well, so that was fun. And Binary's won himself a print from my merch store. Lucky him. So I will hold another one of those again soon. It was good fun. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. Even those who didn't take part enjoyed the game, so it was fantastic. So that was really, really good. And that's really it. So it's been a hell of a lot of GO2 and a bit of egg jam this week. I've also done a lot of thinking about the business of video game development, and especially marketing and visibility, which are a huge issue, especially on Steam and other platforms. How do you get seen? How are you heard? In a room full of 10,000 people shouting. So I'm reaching out to some marketing people, try and get someone on board, someone involved. But that's really early days. But I will keep you posted. And yeah, that's it. So that's basically this week. Next week, I'm going to probably continue working on GO2. I'm going to try and get this space map. So I'm working at the moment on the space map app, as I was saying. And this morning, actually, I've done some work whereby when you first come to the very first time you're confronted with the space map, what does that look like? So that's what I've been working on. There's an empty space map rather than a universe of planets because you haven't found anything yet. So I'm setting up the initial entry into this space map. So into next week, I will hopefully start working on the exploration around the areas you've already found. That's the idea there. Because with GO1, you essentially you had a grid of question mark squares. You click on them, it gives you a price, how much it is to uncover, bang, you click on it, you get whatever's underneath. That was it. Simple, right? Whereas GO2 is a lot more complex than this. You have a vast space map, massive in comparison to GO1. And every single square can have 1, 2, 3, 4 different planets inside it. It could have a load of treasure chests. It could have nothing. And you can only explore outwards from locations that you've built on. So you can colonize comets and planets and things like this. So there's a bit more complexity to it, but it should be a lot of fun. A, to make, and B, to play. So that's what I'll probably be working on next week, and hopefully start putting some art into the space map as well. So the UI art rather than the planets and stuff. That's a completely different beast that I'm going to tackle in the future. And the plan there is to generate the planets in segments. That's how I'm thinking I can create, like, procedurally generate planets based on a series of information. So you can have like an ocean layer, and then on top of that, what rock layer it's going to have, and then on top of that rock layer, what's going to be on that, and then create these random planets from different components. Then use some shaders to color shift them, so you get an endless amount of crazy, weird, colorful planets and comets and whatever else. So that's going to be fun. And that's next week. So that's pretty much it. I don't have much more to say this week. If you want to check out my work live, then check me out on Twitch, and the link to my Twitch channel's in the description. And thank you all very much for listening. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you next week. See you later.